Libya's sovereignty has been a subject of international concern since the 2011 uprising that led to the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi. The country's transition from a decades-long autocracy to a hoped-for democracy has been fraught with challenges. This analysis delves into the multifaceted reasons behind Libya's precarious sovereignty, exploring the internal conflicts, foreign interventions, and the struggle for control over its resources that have left the nation on the brink of fragmentation. The power vacuum created by Gaddafi's fall set the stage for Libya's current sovereignty crisis. Without a strong central authority or a cohesive national army, various militias and armed groups filled the void. These groups, often formed on regional, tribal, or ideological lines, have since vied for control, leading to a fragmented political landscape and undermining the concept of a unified Libyan state. Foreign intervention has played a significant role in Libya's sovereignty issues. Various countries, attracted by Libya's oil wealth and strategic location, have supported different factions in the conflict. This external support has not only prolonged the conflict but also compromised Libya's autonomy, making it a proxy battleground for regional and international powers. The presence of mercenary forces, especially from Russia, Sudan, and Chad, further complicates Libya's sovereignty. These fighters, employed by external actors to support different factions, operate outside the control of any legitimate Libyan authority, exacerbating the lawlessness and instability. Economic factors, particularly the control of oil and gas reserves, are at the heart of the struggle for power in Libya. The country's vast hydrocarbon resources have been a curse rather than a blessing, fueling conflict as various groups attempt to seize control of oil facilities and revenue. The fragmentation of political institutions has been a major obstacle to establishing a unified government. The existence of two rival administrations, one in the east and one in the west, along with the United Nations-backed Government of National Accord, GNA, has led to a complex and often contradictory governance structure. Tribal and regional divisions have long been a feature of Libyan society, but these have been exacerbated in the post-Gaddafi era. These divisions are often exploited by various factions to garner support, further dividing the country and weakening its sovereignty. The rise of extremist groups, including the Islamic State, in the chaos of post-revolution Libya has posed a serious threat to the country's sovereignty. These groups have taken advantage of the lack of a strong central government to establish footholds, further destabilizing the nation. The impact of the 2011 NATO intervention, under the guise of protecting civilians, has been a subject of debate. While it helped topple Gaddafi, the lack of a post-intervention plan left a void that contributed to the ongoing turmoil, raising questions about the role of international interventions in undermining state sovereignty. Libya's geographic position, bordering the Mediterranean Sea and proximate to Europe, makes it a key transit point for migrants and refugees. This has attracted European interest and intervention, particularly in terms of border control and migration management, often infringing upon Libya's sovereign rights. The proliferation of arms in Libya is another factor undermining its sovereignty. The post-2011 period saw a massive influx of weapons and an increase in arms trafficking, contributing to the ongoing violence and instability. The role of the United Nations and international diplomacy in Libya has been crucial, yet complex. While UN-led initiatives have sought to mediate the conflict and establish a unity government, the success of these efforts has been limited, often hindered by the conflicting interests of international actors involved in Libya. Libya's legal and judicial systems have been weakened by the conflict, further eroding state authority and sovereignty. The lack of a functioning judicial system has led to a culture of impunity, with militia groups operating outside the law. The economic crisis in Libya, exacerbated by the conflict and political instability, has weakened state institutions. The decline in oil production and revenues, coupled with widespread corruption, has left the government with limited resources to assert its authority and provide basic services. The role of social media and misinformation has been notable in Libya's conflict. The spread of propaganda and fake news has often inflamed tensions, making the path to reconciliation and a unified state more challenging. Despite these challenges, there have been efforts to rebuild Libya's sovereignty. Initiatives such as the Libyan Political Dialogue Forum and ceasefire agreements offer some hope for a political solution. However, the success of these efforts is contingent on the willingness of all parties, both domestic and international, to prioritize Libya's sovereignty over their interests. The future of Libya's sovereignty depends on the establishment of a stable, inclusive, and representative government. This requires not only the resolution of internal conflicts but also a reduction in foreign interference and a concerted effort to rebuild state institutions. In conclusion, Libya's sovereignty is at risk due to a combination of internal divisions, foreign intervention, economic struggles, and the proliferation of armed groups. The path to restoring Libya's sovereignty is complex and requires a multifaceted approach that addresses both the domestic and international dimensions of the conflict. Thank you for watching this in-depth exploration of why Libya's sovereignty is at risk. Your understanding and engagement with these issues are crucial for grasping the challenges faced by this pivotal Middle Eastern country. Please like and subscribe to Middle East Info for more comprehensive analyses of key regional issues.